Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Andrea Weckerly, and welcome to the Ready Living Podcast, where each episode is designed to educate, inspire, and empower you to create the life you want. Thanks for joining us, and remember to subscribe for free on your favorite platform. My guest today is entrepreneur, photographer, travel, and fashion enthusiast, Christy Hunter. She is the CEO and founder of Photowalk Nashville and the co-founder of Photowalk Your Travel, which offer curated photography-based walking tours in Nashville, Tennessee, and Charleston, South Carolina. Thousands of guests per year book her tours to personalize their travel memories. Welcome, Christy.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for having me today.
I'm delighted you're here. And in delving into the background of your work, I see that your work and personal story blend color, creativity, and entrepreneurship in such a compelling way. What is it about color and fashion that interests you so much? And how does that express itself in your photography work?
I've always been fascinated with colors. Even I remember as a kid, I had an assignment and I took that assignment and made it about what colors mean and when you wear them, that psychological effect that they have on people. And so I've always loved bold colors, always attracted to the color red. That's one that you'll see a lot. Black is the absence of color. So I kind of tend to steer away from black. I like just expressing myself through my clothes and through those patterns and colors. It's just always been a part of my aesthetic personally, and then that's carried into the different brands that we have now.
You've shared that history has always been one of your favorite subjects and that you have a particular soft spot for 18th century fashion. How does your love of history influence the way you see the world through your camera lens?
In that 18th century era, it was all about the details and the corsets, the silhouette. It's just fascinating to me. For one, that women went to that amount of effort every day, all the layers and things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just given me an appreciation for beauty, for expressing yourself through clothes. And I love capturing that on the other side. And then I love being in front of the camera on the other side and expressing myself. When I was a teenager, I would go to bookstores and I would just thumb through and always would gravitate towards the books about fashion or photographers and their portfolios in there. And even 1950s, 40s glamorous movie stars, the way that a photo would capture them and just all the different elements of it. What was the background? How did all the textures tie in and make that photo a work of art? That just fascinated me. So when I started realizing that I could do that too, like I could create that on either side of the camera, then it became really exciting for me.
So you were early on developing an eye for visual insights, how to frame images in the way that you wanted to get across. What's interesting to me is that you have 4 children and didn't take up photography until after the birth of your youngest child. So what ultimately motivated you to pick up the camera? Were you always that creative and interested in the arts?
Yes, I was always that creative of having an outlet to express myself, whether I was in plays at church or through different school functions and different singing groups. So I've always been musically inclined and my family is very musically inclined. So I think that side always had an outlet. The camera for me was just something that was an outlet to be able to capture the moment. And so that was special to me. I was also the person that would kind of be the keeper of the memories and scrapbook and put them in albums. And then when people are together, I would pull them out and be like, let's look at this because it captures a moment in time. And so the importance of that nostalgia has always been a soft spot for me. I'm very nostalgic. When digital cameras became very accessible, my motivation was taking photos of my kids, doing it in a creative way. That was exciting to me. And I would start getting them printed and putting them on the walls. And then that quickly led to other moms asking me to take pictures of their kids. And that led to senior pictures and then weddings. And one thing led to another. And I had a full-on photography business.
all of that then moved from your photography business to the creation of Photowalk Nashville. Can you share the backstory of that, especially how it evolved from your work with fashion influencers and that one late night scroll through Airbnb Paris?
When the photography business started taking off, I felt the draw more to weddings and fashion. And that tapped into my history and my love of being able to create more through it and have a vision for something and have the ability to create it. Working with Nashville fashion designers, I started getting really good relationships with a lot of them, and they would just let me pull clothes or if they had something new. And then I started becoming friends with a lot of models. And so I would put it all together and started becoming really involved in the Nashville fashion scene. That led to working with influencers and bloggers. I'd be out on the streets in Nashville taking pictures, like doing a gig with a blogger. And I started seeing those neighborhoods that we were in that were low key under the radar neighborhoods start getting a lot of people coming in, a lot of tourists because of the murals that were coming into those neighborhoods. One mural specifically called The Wings. They're called the What Lifts You Wings, and they're by artist Kelsey Montague. She's incredibly talented. Taylor Swift added to the fame of that by taking her picture in front of them. So once that happened, it was really this phenomenon of incoming tourists exploring these other little parts of the city besides our downtown strip called Broadway. And I looked around and went, there's nobody taking these people's pictures. Who's doing that? I actually got asked one time as I was walking past the Wings, a couple was like, hey, you look like you know what you're doing. Would you take a picture for us? And I was like, sure. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I could give you so much more than just this. I see something, I see a need in the market, but had no idea how to execute it until one night. I just happened to be scrolling on Airbnb, just dreaming, looking at places to stay in Paris. I've always been drawn to Europe. I couldn't afford it at the time, but I was like at 1 a.m, just let me look on Airbnb. So when I did that, I happened to see a whole different thing on Airbnb that was new at the time. It was called Airbnb Experiences. And what it showed me was a photographer in Paris taking this couple around, talking to them, interacting with them, giving them recommendations of where to eat, where to shop, but also doing a photo shoot. And I'm like, that's what I already do anyways. I'm already a very interactive and relational photographer, and I like it to be an exchange. This is the answer. And so I sent an email to Airbnb. I found an email, just a generic one at the bottom of the page.
You just sent an email.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot. I probably won't hear anything. I did not have that much confidence that anything would happen with it, but it did. They said, actually, we're launching Airbnb Experiences in Nashville in 2 weeks. Do you want to be a part of it?
The stars really aligned for you on that one.
Yes, they did. Yes. And now I've been the Airbnb Experience host community leader for the past 7 years. And it's also led me to be a part of a group of experience host community leaders from around the world that I meet with often on Zoom calls. Airbnb flew me out twice to their headquarters in San Francisco this year. And I got to even speak to new hires about experiences. Just with that company specifically, a whole world of opportunities has opened up since I saw that one listing 7 years ago.
Well, what that tells me is go for it, right? Go for it. You just don't know what will happen.
Yes, you really don't. And also what Airbnb Experiences did was help me to craft the experience in a structured way. I think without it, it would have been much more free-flowing, but it forced me to have a starting point, an ending point, a price point, all of the back end of it, which as a creative, a lot of us aren't great at, the admin side of things. When I did that, I could really create an experience that as I was getting the bookings, I was refining and found a really sweet spot that people were booking. Just on that platform, for the first year and a half, I was getting bookings from people all around the world. And it was attracting like-minded travelers, a traveler profile that I have, because I created something that I would purchase and I have purchased in other cities, which is people who value moments. They value meeting someone from that area and interacting with a real person, a local, getting local recommendations, and also people who love pictures. Not all of my guests have loved being in front of the camera. But what myself and my team now like to change people's mindset about is it's okay if you're not comfortable in front of the camera. All we want is for you to have a good time. And so when we have people say right off the bat, like, I'm awkward, I'm not photogenic, I'm not good in pictures. For me, I love to see a transformation where I see someone say that and then at the end go, you know what? That was fun. I had a good time. It was about them having a fun experience. That transformation for me is what it's all about.
They get pictures at the very end of it, but ideally also memories of the process of creating those pictures.
Absolutely. It's memories of the process. Our biggest compliment is when someone gives us a review before they've even seen the photos. When we get a review that says, Christy made me feel incredible. Insights into the city, great recommendations, and we had fun. We've had families that have done the photo walk together, and then one of those family members passed away. That happened this year. And those were the last pictures they had together. So for us, it goes way beyond Instagram and being cute in front of the camera. It's about creating those memories and giving people an experience that they can value and cherish forever.
You offer a variety of photo walk tours, and I especially love the photo walk the dog tour. Did you come up with these from the beginning, or did they develop organically over the years?
Nashville had a huge boom in bachelorette parties between the years of 2020 and 2023, especially. I mean, we call it the gold rush years that incited a whole new industry, Andrea. I'm telling you, a new industry for entertainment in Nashville catered just to girls groups. So we were right at the forefront of that. But what I realized was if you've got a bachelorette party, if you've got 5 girls coming in from Kansas City and they're here on Brittany's bachelorette party, and then you've got a couple, Billy and Susie over here, and you put them all together, it's weird. Very quickly, I realized that the product situation needed to be divided up, that there needed to be a general catch-all experience and then one just for bachelorette parties. And then people started asking me on Airbnb, can I bring my dog? We travel with our dogs. And I was like, sure, that makes sense. And there's also lots of great spots for dog photos. But realizing in the middle of that, if you're mixing that with other people, not everyone is comfortable with dogs. Also, those photos took a little longer because dogs don't always cooperate getting the picture taken. So we made a separate one, and Photowalk the dog just came out. It sounded so perfect and a great option for dog-friendly things to do in Nashville. We've had some really cute dogs, I'm telling you. We've had some stars. We've had a time out there with Photowalk the dog.
You've had some surprise marriage proposals unfold during your photo walks too.
Oh my goodness, yes. There have been so many that have just been precious. We also realized that we needed a separate experience for that too. We have 2 different spots where we can do that.
You've also created custom experiences like the Taylor Swift Eras Tour shoot and scavenger hunt. What sparked that idea, and are similar experiences something you want to expand for other artists or major events?
We had so much fun. That Eras tour was also quite the phenomenon. I mean, the effect that Taylor Swift has is incomparable. We knew that tour was going to be huge and that there was going to be 3 shows. Seeing that the Eras tour was sparking this trend of wearing your favorite era outfit to the concert. Fans were posting that online, and there were different TikToks on how to dress for which era. So we thought, let's jump in on that. What if you could wear your era's look and your outfit, then also come and get pictures of it? We curated a special script just for that experience, and it was so fun. We got to meet so many different fans from around the world and offer them something unique for their time while they were coming in to see the show.
Any other artists you might be interested in replicating that for?
Yeah, I think we'll keep looking into that. We're looking ahead. Who's coming in to Nashville? Who are those big stadium level shows? And how can we offer those fans something fun and exciting to do?
What's your creative process for getting just the right shot of your clients? In other words, how do you balance technical skills with capturing authentic emotion?
I think you have to be so comfortable in your technical skills, which is why when we're bringing on new hosts, we call our team hosts and not photographers. They have to be a professional photographer as well. we want these photos to have a certain level of quality. One of the key and little trick things that I do is I put my camera on live display. So I never am holding the camera to my face, because when you do that, there's something blocking between you and your subject. I'm keeping eye contact with them the entire time and just shooting and barely looking down, so that I'm talking to them, I'm engaging, I'm giving them direction. Oh, Andrea, I love that pose. What if you, and I'll take one hand, and what if you put your hand up here? What if you do this? And giving them those prompts so that they're not standing there uncomfortable, communicating with them the entire time, having a balance between the two of being creative, being in the moment, connecting with the guests, but also taking a great shot. You have to be able to do all of that.
I like what you were just describing about having that relationship with the client, that you're interacting with them. They can see you as a photographer helping them be their best. You're also looking for, it sounds like, a type of intimacy with your clients during that process.
Definitely. And we call ourselves the ultimate hype girl. We're hyping you up. We're giving you from the get-go that encouragement of, you look great. We'll find different things about them we're pulling out of them, or give certain prompts. Sometimes they're really fun. Like, we'll say, do you guys know the cover of the movie Bridesmaids? And we'll bring that to mind and let's recreate that. Or what if you link arms and then slowly walk toward me? Just laugh and talk with each other. So I'm creating a moment of connection between them that I'm them capturing. Some parts of it are kind of photojournalistic style, but that's not the whole thing. And we love the idea of surprise and delight too, and the arc of the experience, the customer journey. There's a pace and a flow. We've developed between the two different neighborhoods a script. For our team members, it's not, hey, just take them around a neighborhood and talk about something. Between storytelling, games, our own personal experiences, and then questions to the guest, there is a definite ebb and flow. And then, just like in any show business, leave them wanting more.
An hour seems like just the perfect length of time to do this.
It really is. We start at $75 a person for the public version of it. And we don't charge per photo. We guarantee at least 50 pictures, which is a lot.
Yeah, that's a great deal. And you also now offer an experience focused purely on creating reels. How has video changed the way you think about storytelling?
Video is so important now. We were getting a lot of guests that did want video. So we offered that, especially for the girls groups and the bachelorette parties. It's essentially the same route, but instead of photos. But I'm seeing a trend back to photos. You know, even Instagram is promoting the carousels. I think the pendulum's swinging back. People still want pictures. That's not going away.
I want to talk more about your entrepreneurial journey. As an entrepreneur, how did you financially approach the early stages of Photowalk? Were you bootstrapping or juggling side jobs?
100% bootstrapping it.
Like so many entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah. We've never had investors. We've never taken out a loan. We have been able to just take things slow and one step at a time and using what you have. I think that's the bootstrap significant piece for me is I had the tool, the camera. And yes, as a photographer, you need some other tools for sure. But that was the big investment. One-time investment of $3,000 and learning it to where it got to the point that I could have a business of just using that camera. But there was no investment to get on the platform of Airbnb. They took a commission. So that format was really good to where I didn't have to invest in marketing because Airbnb was doing it for me. But then when COVID hit, Airbnb experiences were paused. And that's when I realized that I needed to be able to stand alone without a platform like that was a larger corporate company. By that point, I felt like I've got something special here and it needs to be mine. I realized that more than running a photography company, I was running a tourism company.
Brilliant.
I was like, you know what? I got to learn this. So I started going to travel trade shows, ask every other tour guide or tour business owner, attraction owner in Nashville out for coffee. Okay, we're on the same team here. How do you do this? What do you use? And there was no gatekeeping. And it became really fun for me to learn that industry. I really enjoyed it and started making connections with the bigger companies. learned how to distribute. A big key point in that was when I met my business partner, Gina, who was also operating a similar photo walk tour. And we decided that instead of having two different things, we just put it all together and we formed a parent company that we could have LLCs underneath. She's an incredible implementer. She's developed the systems in place for us to be where we're at now and to even launch a new city in Charleston this year. Much more historical, the pirates and pre-Revolutionary War history, and beautiful backdrops for photos. Right now, we have one person who is operating the tours down there, and she's awesome. She was a part of our team in Nashville.
Obviously, your business is growing, and I'm wondering if you could share maybe some truth about entrepreneurial life for other people out there thinking of becoming entrepreneurs, not necessarily in the tourism or photography realm, but just in general. Is there anything that you would say, gee, I wish I would have known that prior to embarking on this?
I think you have to know the type of lifestyle that you want to have first, that needs to be clearly defined. How you define success. We didn't have a goal set in the beginning of this is going to become a 7-figure business. But that does not necessarily mean that I'm living that lifestyle. The lifestyle for us that we value is having freedom in our schedules, that it's not this hustle culture lifestyle. I think on the East Coast, the culture is very driven. But now, as I'm into my mid-40s, I'm giving myself permission to not have to be in that hustle flow, that it's okay to step back and take the pace and to go, I've got the lifestyle that I want right now, and I don't have to constantly be going to the next level. And also, back to your question, I would tell people that entrepreneur lifestyle can be lonely. You need a support system around you to be able to bounce things off of. And if you can have a business partner, there's not many people who have a visionary component and implementer skills in one to be able to launch a brand new business. I know from myself personally, without having a business partner, that I probably would have burnt out a long time ago, trying to do it all, trying to be it all.
Absolutely. And I heard somewhere that your two oldest daughters assist you in your business. What roles do they play in the business, and what's it like sharing this creative world with them?
Both of them would come with me on the early years before Photowalk when I was doing different types of photo shoots and especially weddings. They would come with me as teenagers. I gave them a second camera and taught them how to use it. I also homeschooled them. So there was a freedom in our schedules to be able to do that. So they were just immersed in this entrepreneurial kind of gig-based lifestyle. And we're meeting the most interesting people in Nashville from all different walks of life and industries. Having them exposed to a variety of different types of people and places really helped them have a basis for, the world is their oyster, that they can do whatever. One of them, the older one, she did video with me for a while, and now she works at a very prestigious Nashville hotel. We actually walked past it on our tours, and I waved to her and say hi. And of course, she recommends us to her guests. And I get to hear all the fun celebrity stories. She gets a lot of celebs that come in there. My second daughter, she is now on our team. She's a Photowalk host. So that happened this year. She was our editor for a while, so she was involved in the business back end. But then she voiced the interest, and she's been absolutely amazing, getting 5-star reviews all the time.
If you could collaborate with any artist, let's say a photographer, painter, filmmaker, who would it be?
That's a great question. Nigel Barker is a noted fashion photographer. He was on America's Next Top Model. And that was really the basis of me becoming fascinated with the photographer themselves. Watching him on that show, the direction he would give to the models, his vision, the way he would handle different situations, just seeing his attitude and then his creativity was so inspiring to me. And then fast forward, I got to meet him. I got to tell him about Photowalk. He was so gracious. He's also an entrepreneur too. So he inspired me in that regard, that you don't have to be just a photographer, that you can use that platform to expand and to do other ventures. He's got a martini company. What an inspiration as a creative entrepreneur.
You run Photowalk Nashville and Charleston. Are there any other destinations that you're dreaming of next?
I think at this point, we really, this next year, want to hone in on those two cities. And that just goes back into our ethos. I've looked into franchising, and I think that it would turn me into the type of person that I'm always having to go to meetings and meet with investors. And that's just not the person that I want to be right now. I still enjoy operating Photowalk. I still like being out there on the street and doing the experience so I can stay connected to it. I don't want to become an owner that is just in meetings and behind a computer all the time. At this point, expansion into a new city is on pause. But if there was cities that we were looking at, I would say probably Austin. It's a similar market. I think just growing the garden that we have. We've got two beautiful gardens, and we just want to keep making sure that they're healthy and strong and have a great team culture. That's very important for us.
Where can people find you online?
They can find us on our website at photowalkyourtravel.com. And as well on social media, my handle is Christy the Connector. And that has a link to my other pages, Go to Nashville and Photowalk Nashville.
Christy, thank you so much for having taken the time today.
Thank you, Andrea. You have been just such a pleasure to talk to and such an awesome lady.